Well, there's very good reasons why you should watch these shows live, friends. And we just had one of them. In the chat. Dartone and I were going back and forth. Where Dartone started the chat off tonight by saying, "I feel pregnant. Where is the nearest bathroom? Hashtag poop baby." And then I said, "The toilet is your pants, but I know you're not wearing any." And then Dartone said, "I thought it was your mouth." And I said, "Those days are long behind me." And then Dartone said, "Your OnlyFans will suffer from that." And I said, "I'm doing feet and food now." And then Alex F&V busted it and said, "What the fuck?" Quality programming, quality shit. How is everybody doing tonight? Oh, good stuff, good stuff. I have been very busy, very kind of stressed. I will not lie. I know I've been talking about this for some time, but I've got a lot of shit on my plate. I am literally changing residences at the end of August. I have to move my studio and my dog and my cat and all my shit to Better Kitty Meow's place and get it all set up again. I'm still trying to get a job. That's fun. Sexual Corn in the chat, what up? Moving sucks, yes it does. Yes, burn it all, buy new stuff, much easier. I always get rid of a ton of shit when I leave a place, and that this time is no exception. Right now I'm doing that thing where if I get something delivered, like I just save the box because I, this could be useful for packing something in. So Sexual Core says, burn the furniture, burn the bed, burn the fridge, burn the dog. Wait, what? I'm going to try to avoid burning the dog if I can help it, Sexual Corn, but relatively good advice. If you are watching the replay or you just forgot who I am, I'm Patrick Galactic. You're watching Find Your Weird. You know the drill. I mean, this is just ask me whatever. We'll have a little repartee and have a good time doing it. Been kind of doing this thing lately where I alternate between filling my head full of shit, listening to podcasts constantly, building my website, getting business cards printed, and doing all this stuff, and then trying to have like really sedate chill times as well, where there's not a lot of noise. And I gotta say, I really like the chill sedate times better. I really do. How's everybody been sleeping? I think everybody on this feed right now is from the East Coast. How are y'all sleeping? I love y'all and I worry about y'all at the same time. But while you think about that, think about this. Quote from Kurt Vonnegut: "Our awareness is all that is alive and may be sacred in any of us. Everything else about us is dead machinery." Our awareness is all that is alive and may be sacred in any of us. Everything else about us is dead machinery. We are meat machines, my friends. We are meat machines. Actually, you know what? Let's change the location here. We are meat machines, and the meat within us is, it's just like any other meat. Our meat stays good for like a lot longer than meat if you leave it out for a long period of time. So our awareness is the greatest gift that we have, right? It is the only thing that defines us from the meat in the fridge, or the meat that you forgot to put in the fridge that now smells bad. And you're thinking about giving it to your dog, but you're like, I'm not going to do that to the dog. And then maybe the dog is looking at you like, maybe you should give me some of that, but you still don't because you're a good person. And you don't do that to your dog. But yeah. Sexual Court says, I rather like Kurt Vonnegut's short story, but that was too reductionist. Don't completely align with that stuff. Fair enough. Dartone the third says, I sleep often, but never more than 4 hours because I got shit to do. I sleep 16 hours a day. The Sexual Court says some of the best moments are when we forget ourselves. I mean, it is absolutely open for discussion. I think I think there is truth to that, but I think awareness is beyond just being aware of ourselves. I think it is being aware of other things, and the awareness is around us. So I mean, it's something that I think, awareness and consciousness is this gift that the older I get, I thought when I was younger that I just understood, yeah, I'm alive and someday I'll die, someday far from now. But as I creep into getting older, in my 40s now, kind of like looking at the world around me, it gets more abstract and it gets more strange. I do agree that forgetting ourselves is a gift, and getting lost maybe in the getting lost in the time you spend with another person, getting lost in a song, getting lost in a movie is a gift in and of itself. But I think it is all a reminder of that awareness. Sexual Core says, being in the zone could be argued that awareness isn't quite there. The body just acts from well-established patterns and where they lead to. Could be, friend. You could be absolutely, I think that is a valid argument to what Kurt Vonnegut said. But speaking of music, the entire first part of my life is defined by music. I always loved music, loved learning about music history, how to play music, who was pivotal to the formation of certain kinds of music, getting people to listen to my music, challenging myself to write better music. And in all that time, I learned a lot. I learned a ton. But something I think I love about music more than anything else is how it helps me trace my own evolution. I've been writing music for almost 20 years. It's like almost 30 years, sorry. It's like the most intense diary or journal I could possibly carry with me. And how my tastes change and evolve is fascinating. I spent a half decade listening to a lot of Bristol trip hop, Portishead, Massive Attack, whatever. All of a sudden I got really deep. Just one day, got really into bossa nova and was listening to Astrid Gilberto a lot. Lately, I've discovered a deep love for ambient and instrumental music. I'm a singer and lyricist, so I've always kind of gravitated towards singers and songwriters in a traditional sense. And then 6 years ago, I had a job where I could listen to music all day on AirPods and realized lyrics were really distracting when you're trying to think. Especially when your job is to write content and develop marketing materials. It became very hard to tune out whatever was being sung. I would actually write down song lyrics instead of whatever I was supposed to be focused on. It was kind of funny. So I started listening to a shitload of instrumental music, surf records, and Miles Davis records. And then I got turned on to ambient music when I became a student. And that shit literally helps me think. And it's what I listen to most of the time because, unfortunately, these days, I don't actually have a ton of time or I'm not working on something. But something else I've noticed about music is that the stuff I used to love that I connected to so deeply can be a totally different experience now that I know more about myself, more about the world. So the stuff I was into before, when I go back and re-listen to it, it's almost always even better than it was before. Even my own songs that I've written have different meanings to me today than they did when I wrote them. And sometimes I'll write a song and have no idea what it's about. The lyrics are just kind of a spirit-driven image, in my mind, that might make sense later. And sometimes they do, and sometimes I never know what it's about. But music is interesting. It's like taste or touch or hearing. It evokes a time and a place and a memory. It's storytelling and primal connection kind of all at the same time. I don't think I'm saying anything mind-blowing to any of you or anything profound at all. I might just be rambling. I just took some time to really think about it the last week or so and how much I love music. I've spent the last few years with music on the back burner as I learned a whole lot of new skills. And I guess I'm feeling more connected to it today than I have in a long time. To be honest, I spent a certain amount of my life trying to make it in the music industry. And I think I got very bitter and burned out. And I'm able to approach music from a more joyous place. Sexual Corn says, have you checked out Coil? I have not. I have not, but maybe I will. Dartone the Third says, how was it being born in the 40s? Was Twitter more civilized? No. Dartone the Third says, John Denver is my favorite singer-songwriter right now. This will change tomorrow. Gelsoul says, I heard Fripp and Eno's No Pussyfooting, my gateway to ambient. I gotta say, Gelsoul, great to have you with us. But I had until very recently, never really explored Brian Eno. And as I'm exploring ambient music, I hear a lot of Brian Eno, and I really, really do enjoy it. You know, I was very aware of his reputation. I was very aware of kind of his influence in music, but I had mainly heard albums he produced and not really his stuff. And I have heard quite a bit more of it, and I do enjoy it a lot. But yeah, no, I just great chat tonight, friends. Great chat. So I got the first question for you. Oh, well, we do have a voicemail. So if I hit the wrong button, but we do have a voicemail. If you call 971-599-3879, leave a voicemail if you want to tell some kind of weird story, if you have an impression you want to do, if you want to just say hi to everybody, call this number, 971-599-3879. Leave a message. You have up to 3 minutes. I may have to edit it for time on the show, but we'll play it as long as it won't get me kicked off the channel. So yeah. Sexual Corn says, here's our first question. Will you call me? I'm lonely. You're not wrong, friend. You're not wrong. Gelsoul says, I want discreet music played when I'm dead. Dartone the Third says, oh yeah, I love that song. John Denver songs are warm hug for me. Yeah, like comfort music. I definitely get that. I really like, and you know, I mean, to each their own. I really like Dusty Springfield for comfort music. I really, there's something that just kind of bathes me in this kind of crazy warmth when I listen to Dusty Springfield. A little reminder that this Saturday we will be live once again at 10 p.m. Pacific for another episode of Weird at Night. A bunch of cool stuff coming your way. I hope you'll be able to join us. If you can't, that's cool. I understand. But as always, we will have music, art, and creative conversation out the wazoo, my friends, out the wazoo. So, question, who should be the narrator of your life story? Who should be the narrator of your life story? I think a lot of people my age might say someone like Daniel Stern, who narrated The Wonder Years. And I will confess, I mean, it's a meme. I will confess there have been times where I've actually thought of that. I thought of him narrating my life, but it doesn't seem exactly right for me. I'm sure a lot of other people might think of someone like maybe Morgan Freeman. And I can also imagine that too, but still, not quite right. Not quite right. Now, I think I need someone with the right amount of existential quirk and a little bit of resignation. Thus, I have arrived at the conclusion that I believe the person who should narrate my life is actor extraordinaire, Stanley Tucci. That is correct, Stanley Tucci. I showed a Vonnegut quote at the beginning. The first Vonnegut book I ever read was Breakfast of Champions. I read a paperback copy. I loved it so much, I got an audiobook version I could listen to in my car, narrated by Stanley Tucci, and he was so fucking amazing. So fucking amazing. It's still one of the very best audiobooks I have ever consumed. And it got replaced a while ago. They redid all, the seminal Vonnegut works with really famous people reading them. And it was like John Malkovich does Breakfast of Champions, and it's fine, but it's John Malkovich doing it. And he's kind of hard to forget that it's John Malkovich. He just has this very particular way of talking. James Franco does Slaughterhouse-Five. It's terrible. Awful. And I think Audible should hire me to redo those books because I think I would do a great job. Alex FV says Katie Holmes because I feel like if you know me well, this makes sense. I do think it makes sense, Alex FV, and I do, I think I know you pretty well. So if I don't, who does? Sexual corn, the trees, the mushrooms, the sun, the dirt, the shoes I wore, the various hats I've had, the coats I wore, the eyes that saw, the sidewalks I had passed, the worms. Hey, find your weird, baby. It's right in the title. Thank you, sexual corn. So who would narrate your life story? If you feel like answering, just add me in the chat. I will read them. Dartone the Third says Christopher Lee or Sean Connery, but since they died, R.I.P. Charlie Day. That is so fitting. Charlie Day narrating Dartone's life. I can absolutely imagine that. And something else I can imagine is something that we've already done. Last week, I showed you a cat interview that Dan Ray from Dan's Tunes, R.I.P. Dan's Tunes, did for us last year. And she did one other one. Now, Dan is in Iowa these days. But while she was out here, she said, you have to meet my friend, Charles Wicklander, and his cat. They would make for a great interview. Check this out.
I am here in Greenwood to interview Charles Wicklander and his cat, Otis. Let's go find him. Hey, Charles.
Howdy.
Why is there barbed wire?
The barbed wire, that's a piece my dad made. I think he was like our age.
Oh. All right, Charles. Tell us about this car that we're sitting on.
So this is the truck I learned to drive on. It's a 1962 GMC truck that I drove when I was a kid. So yeah, it's really fun to drive. It's 3-speed on the column.
What does that mean?
Oh, it's 3 gears. That's on the steering column. Like first you flip down and towards you, second is up and away from you, third is down and away from you. So it's an antiquated kind of shift pattern.
Wait, so it only has 3 gears?
Only 3.
Okay.
And it's not very fast. It could be Ignat's featured cat instead of Otis.
Yeah, we'll just go Ignat instead of Otis.
Ignat. Oh, there you go.
Sorry. We got music, cooking, and cars, so you're good.
Yeah, those are things I like to do.
Okay. All right, well, let's talk about your music a little bit.
Yeah, I got some, I put out some music. I got this solo album that just finished up tracking, so I'm going to be releasing a music video and a single songs in the music video sometime in the next couple months.
Okay.
Yeah, and the music video does feature one of the old cars. And, my buddy Jordan Can.
Oh, I love Jordan.
Yeah, from the Wags.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Wags.
Oh, the Wags is a band?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I jammed with them.
Okay.
I jammed with these guys.
Yeah, Jordan's great.
Yeah, no, Jordan's great. So he and I were just like, let's just go make a desert rock music video. That song's pretty like. We drove 59 Chev out to the Yakima River Canyon. Let's just go find this tunnel, film some stuff in it. So we really like walked up this old abandoned road you're not supposed to go up, and
better to ask forgiveness than permission. Iggy, what's your favorite part about Charles? His hair? Great. What's your favorite part of living on this property? All the trees to get stuck in? Okay, yeah, great. Do you relate more with Simba or Nala? Neither? You're your own cat? Okay, great. Iggy, how do we solve the Arab-Israeli conflict? No comment. what are your thoughts on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict?
Yeah, Mom. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. Things are going pretty good. I got my room, so I got it all set up. I mean, you can kind of see here that it's a big, it's a big mess. Ugh, Jesus. Oh my God.
Hold on now. That's not garbage. It's Dada, baby. Asshole. We gotta take care of shit this year. This is a really big deal. Maybe like the biggest deal ever. Don't be a fucking dick. It's Dada, baby.
It's Dada, baby! That was a pretty fun bit made back when we were just a baby show, when we weren't even a year old, we weren't even a toddler yet. We were, that was 2020, so yeah. And Gelso really dug the piano stuff from Charles Wicklander. I highly recommend you go check out Charles Wicklander's stuff. I'm dropping his Bandcamp in the chat right now. Because I was lazy and didn't do it during the bit. Yeah, Charles is a super nice dude, super cool guy, knows a shit ton about cars, and is also his dad was fascinating. You saw the barbed wire tornado thing at his house, and like, there was so much of that stuff. Like, I felt bad because, like, I wanted to talk to Charles's dad as much as I wanted to talk to Charles by the time it was all said and done. They're both fascinating and interesting people. It's one of the fun things about doing what we do here over at Weird at Night is we get to meet a whole bunch of really interesting people. Let's see. Oh, so sexual corn, the trees, the mushrooms, the sun, the dirt, the shoes. I wore the various hats I've had, the coats I wore, the eyes that saw the sidewalks I passed, the worms. Narrate through visuals. Koya Noskati style. I can't say I'm familiar. But sexual corn also said, old abandoned roads you're not supposed to go at are the best roads to go up. I agree. It's pretty fun. That was actually just behind Charles's house. They had a really cool house. I have to say, it was quite a bit of fun. Dartone presumably responding to the cat at the end. If God hands you lemons, fuck God and roundhouse him in the face. Find a new God. Why not? Hey, I'm right here. I mean, I don't know what y'all are on the fence about. I mean, I've been here the whole time, benevolently loving all of you. Benevolently loving all of you. Alex FV says, I'm God, fuck you both. You know what? Alex FV, fine. Speaking of Alex FV, Alex is going to make a little appearance in the show tonight. Dartone says he was obviously referring to himself. Yes, we know, Dartone. Yes, we know. I'm going to give you some love in the chat here. The former savior of the Waniverse, exposed as a fraud. Okay. Koya Nis... I can't pronounce the name. Koya is Katsi is essential viewing. There's a whole series of movies. Yeah. Well, I thank you for the recommendation. I will check that out. I'm going to copy. Actually, you know what? Let's find out more about it. Sometimes I forget the tools that I have in front of me. In fact, often I do that. Come on, browser. Son of a bitch. You did me dirty, browser. Bear with me, folks. Bear with me. It's all gonna work out. There's this thing where when I'm looking for something, it's the only thing I can't see. Why is this doing this? I'm gonna try one more time. All right. Wow, we've really gotten into some messianic discussion in the chat tonight, which I highly encourage. Why not? Nothing matters. Just smile anyway. All right. Let me see if I can make this fucking thing work. Does it change anything if I move it over here? All right, well, you know what they say, if something doesn't work the first time, just keep trying until it fucking still doesn't work, and then you get really furious because you keep trying to make something work that's not going to work. No. All right. All right. So, now that is very old information. Koya Niskatsi, also known as Koya Niskatsi, Life Out of Balance, is a 1982 American experimental non-narrative film directed and produced by Godfrey Reggio, with music composed by Philip Glass and cinematography by Ron Frick. Okay, so it came out April 28th, 1982. Wikipedia is not a good place to go for a brief synopsis. The film begins with the Great Gallery Pictograph in Horseshoe Canyon, Canyonlands National Park, depicting several tall figures standing near a taller crowned one. The scene depicts the Saturn V rocket during its Apollo 11 launch. It then fades to a desolate desert landscape before progressing to various natural phenomena. The film then incorporates humanity in the environment with shots of choppy water, cultivated flowers, the artificial Lake Powell, a large mining truck causing billows of dust, power lines, mining operations, oil fields, the Navajo generating station, the Glen Canyon Dam, and atomic bomb detonations in a desert. The shot sees sunbathers on a beach with the San Onofre nuclear generating station in the background before moving on to an aircraft, cars, and military vehicles. Time lapses of clouds, shadows move across skyscrapers, and various housing projects are in disrepair. Destruction of large buildings is depicted, including the demolition of the Pruitt Egoe housing project in St. Louis. A time lapse of a crowd queuing is followed by shots of people walking along streets in slow motion. It sounds very visually stimulating. It definitely sounds like, so that's your teaser, let's just say. It sounds like a movie that it says right there that it's an experimental film. Certainly sounds like one. I love experimental film, so I will check it out. Hopefully soon. my life is a chaos machine at the moment, but hopefully I will have time to check that out soon. Barack and Samsara are Gelsoul says Barack and Samsara are amazing and in the same universe. Ron Frick movies. Sexual Corn thinks Samsara is the weakest. And Gelsoul's like, I don't know, I don't really like that. Gelsoul then just says, it's just really well filmed eye candy. You could also throw on some Mind's Eye videos and your favorite stoner music. Hey, I love stony stuff. I don't even partake in substances of any kind. I'm not straight edge, but I am sober. And I still love hyper druggy stuff. It's foundational, damn it. It's part of who I am. Okay. So I have another question for you. Also, Gelsoul, if you wanted to answer this question, who should be the narrator of your life story? You're absolutely welcome to. I picked Stanley Tucci. Okay. Next one. Would you rather be giant or ant size, or maybe even smaller? So you could either be massive or you could be ant size. It's really up to you. Now, I don't know that there's a clear-cut winner in this one. Like, I can see kind of both sides. I've asked questions in the past that seemed a little more clear-cut. Like, I asked if you'd rather be able to teleport or fly, and for me, it was like a no-brainer. Like, easily, I would definitely want to teleport. Better Kitty Meow is still, like, amazed by that to this day. Like, you wouldn't want to fly and just have the experience of flying, and I'm like, no, I'm trying to save time here. So on the one hand, being giant would make you very difficult to regulate. Like, people couldn't keep you from doing much if you wanted to do it, but let's not kid ourselves. Even giants can be killed with nuclear weapons, etc. It's not invincibility. And a lot of freeloaders would probably, I thought about this, a lot of freeloaders would probably like cling to you like for a ride trying to get places. Which would be inconvenient at best and a mild version of assault at worst. And no one would feel bad for you because you are a giant and they all fear you. So there is downsides. Gelsoul says, is this size question related to Earth? If so, I'd pick smaller. It is related to being a being on Earth, yes. On the other hand, being miniature would be cool because you could probably pull off cool heists, which who doesn't want to do that, and never get caught, but you'd have to be very clever about it, being as you are tiny. And the risk of being stepped on and crushed is also very real. And then there's the issue of predators whom you'd spend a considerable amount of time trying to hide from. You know, we don't think about that, do we? I think I'm going to go with miniature just because of the heist aspect, honestly. Like, if you found the right amount of other miniature people to do it with you, you could pull off a ton of shit. You could pull off a ton of heists. Alex says, ant size always. Sexual Corn says there's health detriments to being relatively big, given same form, joints, heart, connective tissues, muscles. It'd come down to context of where and how in a safe environment. Ant, grossly more efficient. Yes, well, is there a safe environment if you're an ant other than, like, captivity? That's maybe the real question here. Maybe that's the real question we should be asking that I'm not going to ask because instead, I thought I might play you all a song. We got more answers coming in, and I will let those gather while I play you a song. Goodbye, baby blue. How I'll always love you true. Every tear I shed for you felt like a pound of flesh. Goodbye, baby blue. How I set my heart to you. Everything I say or do, forever in my head. shit for you. Feel like a pound of flesh. Goodbye, baby blue. How I set my heart to you. Everything I say or do, forever in my head. Time left us longing. Lies left us for dead. Your love feels like falling. I see you falling, yeah. Goodbye, baby blue. How I'll always love you true. Everything I say or do, forever in my head. Time left us longing. Lies left us for dead. Your love feels like falling. I see you falling, yeah. Gelsoul says, I love that guitar. You know what, Gelsoul? I do too. I do too. It's my, of all my musical stuff, it is my prized possession. Thank you. Thank you for that. Let's see. Back to the questions at hand. Ant size. Dartone the Third says, Ant size. I would save money on beer and could hide super easily and rob banks and CEOs. That's what I'm saying, my friend. That's what I'm saying. I mean, it seems pretty unanimous that everybody here would pick miniature. Gelsoul says, if you were the same size as an ant, you'd probably be stronger, relatively speaking. Very true. Very true. That's the thing. Ants are very strong. They're insanely strong. And then Dartone the Third follows that up. If I was ant size, I could kill the queen and take over an ant hill by pissing on it and taking it over the ant hill and then another and another. Before you know it, I would be in charge of half the biomass of Earth. Fun fact, ants are half the biomass of the planet. I am pretty sure that's true. Gelsoul says, nice work, PG. Thank you, Gelsoul. Thank you. We watched Gelsoul's video Nightshade on Saturday. It was fucking awesome. Gelsoul has some vinyl coming out soon on Wax Thematic. I'm so stoked. Please, Gelsoul, please promise me you'll keep me in the loop so I can share the news when it comes out. But we'll be sharing some more news this Saturday on Weird at Night at 10 p.m. Just as we are every Saturday night at 10 p.m. If you can make it, I would love to have you there. It's absolutely a blast sharing that time with y'all. And, you know, there's some other people I've shared some time with. Quite a bit of time. In fact, I've known them their entire lives. Like, for instance, Alex F and V. And we're going to get to that in just a minute. But right now, what's the most overrated noun in the world to you? What is the most overrated noun in the world to you? Okay, so like I said, you answer that. I showed you guys some Trash Force stuff that we did a few years back. But how did Trash Force form? And this is very patented Patrick Galactic stuff. Why not show you stuff completely out of order? This was the formation of Trash Force. It was created in opposition to Dartone, who had started a cult called RacQAnon that was very anti-raccoon. So, we had to do something, and this is what we did. All right, so I mean, like, I know we've been here a long time. And you know how much I love you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But you're not the queen of QAnon, right?
No, I've told you 18 trillion times.
I mean, you've told me a number of times in this conversation and many others, but I
Yeah.
guess maybe hearing it that 21st time is really what I needed.
21st. Okay, but I've continued to tell you that
Right.
I'm not. And you're still
Well, I
asking?
mean, you continue to say it, but that's exactly what a double agent would do. And that's
Listen, I've told you. This is the last time I'm telling you. I am not the queen of QAnon.
I am not the queen of QAnon.
I am not the queen of QAnon. I'm not.
okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
We're family. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course. Which is exactly what the queen of QAnon would do to try and
Jesus Christ.
Okay, well, if you're not the queen of QAnon, which
I'm not.
you're my cousin, so I'm going to have to assume it's true. Okay?
I wouldn't lie
At
to
a
you.
certain point, we have to be family, okay?
That's right.
And we can't let these fuckers come between us. So, I mean, do we try to have some kind of like opposition? You know, like fuck QAnon. Yeah.
I've been telling you this for like a month. I don't understand why you're bringing this up right now.
So anyway, that's kind of what I'm thinking. And I think that if we were to rally an opposing force, I'm kind of ahead of you a little bit. A little surprise.
You're ahead of me.
I've been working hard on this. I've been working hard. I've got a great group. I got a great group.
Really? Who is it?
It's like me and you.
And
Me and you, baby. Come on. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, fuck
Okay.
QAnon. Fuck them.
Okay.
Fuck them right in the
Yeah.
fucking thing.
Yeah. Fuck
Yeah.
QAnon. Yeah.
What do we call it?
Trash force.
I like that. I like that. Maybe there's some others we could maybe try to brainstorm too. Like,
No, it's trash force.
okay. And I did accuse you of being a double agent and
Yeah.
yelled at you. I did
Yeah.
call your dad several times crying. So
yeah. And what
maybe-
was that about?
I've already lost so much. My dog. I haven't seen my dog in like 2 months. She's joined QAnon, Alex. I've lost everything.
How did that even happen?
Well, Blazing Space just came into the side yard and asked if she wanted to join QAnon. She just went with him.
She's a dog. You couldn't just take her back?
She seemed like she had her mind made up. I didn't want to.
That's not how that works. I think that it's your fault.
Okay, so it's Trash Force. Trash Force
Trash force.
is where we're going with this, not Space Force.
Because I'm pretty sure that Space Force has to do with QAnon, so it's
Yeah.
Trash Force.
Trash Force. Trash
Yeah.
Force. And I got this space background, but believe me, if there are space raccoons, cousin, can we just
have to
cuddle them?
be- Yes.
Shouldn't we greet them with a hug?
Yes, because raccoons are the cutest.
Trash Force has to outlaw Creed, Scott Stapp's solo records specifically, and
Yes.
Limp Bizkit from ever being played at any of our meetings. Pretty excited right now. We got a great group, like I said. It's
I
me,
guess.
and it's
exciting.
you, and it's fucking Trash Force. Ha! QAnon, you're about to fight the big one, bitches.
Fuck you, QAnon.
Hi, I'm Chef Ted. Actually, I'm not a real chef, but my friends call me Chef Ted whenever I do the things I'm about to show you on this tape. The envelope, please. We're going to make a little envelope out of your napkin. It's a nice way to send the message to your guests that they're special. Here's one you may want to use next time the preacher comes over. It's called the bishop's hat. This time, pay close attention to the flaps. Talk about adding a touch of class to any meal. Kind of gives new meaning to dressing up your table, doesn't it? Boots were made for walking, but this one's going to have your neighbors a-talking. Let's do something a little fun. We're going to make the baby. And there's the baby. This little fellow will really be the hit of your next baby shower. Well, friends, that's about it. Just remember, you have to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. Now, go out there and knock your guest socks off.
Wow. Sexual Cord says, it's a nice way to send a message to your enemy. Yes, a nice folded baby cloth folded napkin. Yes, Chef Ted is terrifying, and he tells you in the beginning, I'm Chef Ted. Well, I'm actually not a real chef. No shit, dude. You're clearly a serial killer. And the reason I keep showing you guys that video is because we should be evaluating it for clues. I'm not sure when it was made, but there are definitely some bodies that haven't been found yet. There are definitely some bodies that haven't been found, but now you know how to make a napkin, presumably out of human flesh. Okay. All right. And then, yes, you saw the formation of Trash Force, an opposition force to QAnon. Trash Force eventually became corrupted by Alex's complete desire to murder Dartone, which wasn't, it just got out of hand. Things got out of hand. Space Raccoons got involved. Some of what Dartone had been saying the whole time actually turned out to be true, and that was really scary. But Dartone and Blazing Space eventually came back to their senses, rejoined the fold. Alex was punished severely for trying to assassinate Dartone, and for throwing, and I happened to throw a radioactive burrito into a vortex. These things happen, is the point. These things happen. So I had asked, what's your most overrated noun? What is your most overrated noun? And I got some answers. Dartone says, the most overrated thing is pants. You don't need them. We should go 300, the comics, and just wear cloaks. Wow. That's not a bad idea, honestly. Sexual Corn says, overrated noun, word. Completely overrated. There's too many words. People use words too much, so they lose their value as a result. People should use words less. Interesting. Interesting perspective. Especially from someone who's a writer, Sexual Corn. Let's see. Dartone then says, all hail the queen in her crusade against raccoons. So basically Blazing Space and Dartone started trying to convince everyone that Alex was the secret mastermind of her QAnon, which is why I was so skeptical of it. Just little fill in the blanks. I'm sure it makes it make a lot more sense now. Watching these videos 2 years after they were made is a trip for me, I'm sure. Thank you all for bearing with me. Let's see. Dartone then implies that Alex is a double agent. Gel Soul said, my internet is glitching out so bad right now, which makes sense with all the QAnon nonsense going on. Believe me, I wish mine was glitching out too. Okay, last question. Describe your childhood in 3 words. Can you do it? Describe your childhood in 3 words. I'm going to give you mine. Monkeys are great. And I was talking about the Monkeys because they kind of defined the 80s for me on Nick at Night, on Nickelodeon during the day. I even went to their reunion tour at the Puyallup Fair. I saw the Monkeys, and I fucking loved it. Okay? Okay. So, think about your answer. Last video. You may remember Mandy Ravage, the Goblin Bird. The Goblin Bird has been involved in many things, but that concept was created by this community when we hosted a subscriber-only chat to create a character for Weird at Night. And the community came through big, and this was how the concept of the Goblin Bird was introduced. You may remember, if you've been watching the last several episodes, Circle, now Circle, formerly known as Sam Circle. Well, this was the first time Sam really talked about the Goblin Bird.
Our Space Force.
Our Space Force is defending our country, here on Earth and wherever our mission takes us. As commerce and exploration expand, we will imagine the unimaginable, anticipate the inconceivable,
here on Earth and wherever our mission takes us,
and prepare for the impossible. We won't just think outside the box. We'll think outside the atmosphere.
There was a news broadcast that revealed a new, strange creature. A creature that had one regular bird leg and a peg leg. Now, reports also say that this creature flew down to destroy this person's house. So it's got wings. We also know that it had a pterodactyl head and a big beak. Now, this is just what's being reported via the news. I'm just, coming to you anonymously. You might remember me. I'm Sam Circle. I'm a truth teller. I'm also a veteran of the Space Force. I served for 72 hours, and they did not believe me about the aliens. But this goblin bird, this is real. I saw it. I don't know who else has seen this because it's, almost like a private newscast. But what I'm telling you is we got to get QAnon on it. We got to let everybody know there is a goblin bird attacking people. It's happening, folks. I mean, put the tinfoil hat on or take it off. Do whatever you got to do to keep you and your loved ones safe, because there's a monster on the loose and it's coming for Weird at Night. So I'm just here to warn you from my unknown location in Baltimore, Maryland. We'll censor that. Ricky, we'll just cut that out, yeah? Well, they're on a smoke break, but we'll cut that out. You don't know where I am, and you don't know who I am, but what you do know is you got a goblin bird on your hands.
Where there are no borders and nowhere to hide, our Space Force is defending our country, here on Earth and wherever our mission.
Sam Circle's fucking stupid, okay? I stand by that, but the goblin bird actually did turn out to be real. A lot of idiots on this show happen to be right. That's just kind of a recurring theme. It's just kind of a recurring theme. Getting back to 1 Minute Napkin, Jelsol said, this reminds me of Cockring Warehouse from Mr. Show. I've actually never seen Mr. Show. Sexual Corn says, Chef, Butcher, Bass Street, is there a difference? Really? Little Sweetie Todd there for everybody. Alex FV said, fuck Dartone. Dartone said it's good to hide a fingernail you pulled out of a dead body inside the napkin. Jelsol said, now I definitely don't know what to believe. And in answering the questions, the most overrated thing Alex FV thinks is toes. Dartone III says, my life in 3 words, Conan the Barbarian. Alex FV says, I liked purple. Jelsol says, my childhood in 3 words, the A-Team. Fantastic. I liked A-Team a lot. I was a little young. It was gone before I was fully sentient. But yes. Sexual Corn says, childhood in 3 words, applesauce, apple cuts, apples. And Jelsol asked if the beginning of that was a Funkadelic song. I can see why that might be believed. Yes. So, Jelsol, yes. The Goblin Bird did happen to be real, as it turned out. And if you want to see the discovery of the Goblin Bird, if you want to know more about the lore, the very twisted, but actually, it does all make sense if you were to pay attention to a lot of little details, you can go check out our YouTube. I don't know how much patience you have for our silliness, but please do subscribe to our YouTube. It's a big help to us as we try to get our message of stupidity out to the world. But for now, we're gonna wrap this fucker up, and we're gonna do it with the thing we do best, and that's the auto-write. The auto-write is a little exercise where I count back from 10. As I do, you try to clear your mind. When I get to 1, I'll say go. When I say go, we all start tippity typing whatever comes into your mind. And then after about 30 or 45 seconds, I'll say stop. We all hit enter return. Everybody's auto-write shows up in the chat, and then we get the hell out of here. We'll go raid somebody and go have a good night, huh? Go have a good night, yeah. Yeah, East Coast, yay, hoots. Except for Jelsol. All right. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Start typing. Okay, go ahead and stop, hit enter, return on your keyboard. I'll start reading mine while I wait for more to come in. I'm responding, not automaticing, and I'm proud of that. Proud of the blood that has dripped from my forehead as I bladed to simulate violence in a professional wrestling contest, which is like theater and ballet and barbarism all at once. Be jealous, you lecherous trolls. Be as haughty and naughty as the world will let you without imprisoning your mind in a cage of knives and sharks. Be envious and greedy. Be like Steve the shark who ate my sandwich earlier today. Be like Steve. Good job, me. Alex F and V. I want to tell the world about a man named Fart Bunch. It's a time for exploring the socks of the dryer, and I want to know, have you seen my toad? Gopher in a Topher Grace food pod in a long division sock hide. It's all I've got to rock till I drop a bop, bop, skip, scop, and there's flowers called glitter bug in little pink watering can, you stupid little bitch bag. Are you calling me a stupid little bitch bag? I mean, I'm sure you are, but why? Thank you, Alex FMV. The queen of the auto right. Dartone the Third. I was using melted ice cream to keep the minions happy. They were so easy to control, I set them on the task of going up the hill and taking over for the fortress. Ants control the environment. Now I control the environment. Bow before me. Gel Soul. My in-laws are in town and luckily they're pretty cool, but they crashed out early tonight because they got jet lag. And my wife is at the Final Skinny Puppy Show, which is cool because that's one of her all-time favorite bands, but I'm at home sort of entertaining the in-laws, but not really since they went to bed. So I thought I would chill with Wan tonight, and now my internet is glitching again, so I'll just submit since I think time's up anyways. You were correct, Gel Soul. Time was up. Time was up. Sexual corn. Just a little folded sticky note, a crack of the window from the 15th floor, and I let it go and watched it descend. Not a worry of the people milling about. Lunch rush has started and people strode quickly with their predetermined paths, having done this 5 days a week for years, knowing where their tongues could be sated. But they didn't know this little note, a yellow folded thing with complex words, was headed their way. And when it touched down, the rising heat from the concrete and asphalt would greedily pull the inked words onto them, unfolding the note, consecrating the ideas to the grounding of where they moved. Just a little folded, sticky note. Very well done, Sexual Corn. Very well done. And very well done, everyone. Thank you for hanging out with me this last hour. It's been a blast. I love hanging out with you all. I love talking philosophy. I love talking about weird experimental movies that I've never heard of before. I love learning new things, and I always learn something new each and every time we do this together. So, I say ta-ta for now. But I will see you Saturday at 10 p.m. Pacific. Until then, keep it sticky, friends. We'll be raiding somebody in just a sec. Bye-bye.